On the agenda, or if you're here just to hear what's going on in the Sports Authority, we welcome you. We want to thank the Bridgestone Arena and the Predators for hosting us this morning for our meeting. I want to thank our members for being here. We got good attendance this morning of our commissioners. I want to thank Vice Chair Kim Atkins for presiding at the monthly meeting that I had to be away and couldn't be here. I read the minutes and watched you on TV, and it was a good meeting. As we start the meeting, I want to point out that the appeals process for decisions made by the Sports Authority is listed in the published agenda and is on our website if you need to go there. And let's stop and review the minutes, and then we will ask for a motion to approve them.
Move for approval.
Motion's made and seconded for approval. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Okay, they're approved. There's one item that's not on the agenda that I just want to mention this morning and get your approval. It's something that's happened and it's in our budget, but it's an administrative type item, but according to Metro, we need to approve this. Metro Council and Metropolitan Government gave a 1.5% across-the-board pay increase for all employees, and it was included in our budget for our department, and we need to ratify that just to have a show record that we have approved it, and it's just a matter of sort of an administrative thing that we have to do each time that occurs. And I would entertain a motion to approve that.
Motion for approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Approved. Now we'll go right on down to our agenda, our executive director's report, and let me tell you that he's been running. I think he took a few days off there at Christmas, but other than that, he and Monica have been on the move, I will tell you, with all that's happening and where the Sports Authority is involved. We appreciate both of you and appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have indeed been busy, and Monica and I both got a little time off at Christmas, but we've both been in different places at different times almost every day because of the extent of the meetings and opportunities that we as a Sports Authority have. So we're fortunate in that regard, and it appears already that 2014 is going to be a really exciting year for us. Very quickly, just to kind of go through the items that are in your packets before you. Obviously, you've already approved the minutes, which are tab 1. Tab 2 is my report that I'm reviewing right now. Tab 3 is the Bridgestone Arena update that we will get to in a moment. It's the typical update. It's the November 2013 month. But also included in that, I wanted to point out a really special item, I think, and I think it's a testament to the work that we're doing, but it's certainly a testament to the work that both Sean and Jeff and their teams are doing. But that's the fact that Bridgestone Arena is ranked 6th in the United States for ticket sales. And that is just an outstanding accomplishment. And I'm sure Sean will have some more to say about that, but it is included in tab 3 if you want to see the details of that, which I enjoyed seeing. Tab 4 in your packet is parking contracts that we'll have comments on shortly. These two contracts are really amendments to the existing contract between the Sports Authority and the Downtown Partnership. We'll do some brief ballpark updates, but tab 5 takes us to a reimbursement agreement for Embry Development. This was briefly discussed at our December meeting, and we'll get to that, and Margaret and I will present that to the board. Tab 6 are bond CT forms. Tab 7 is the memorandum from 2007 that outlines our Sports Authority board elections. Just one other quick comment. It's been in the news, obviously, and you have received an invitation. Many others will be receiving invitations to the groundbreaking ceremony on January 27th for the Nashville Sound's new baseball stadium. It will take place at 3:30 approximately. 3:30 to 4 o'clock will be the formal groundbreaking ceremonies, and from 4 to about 5 o'clock will be the family festivities. There'll be several activities for families, and I think it'll be an outstanding event for folks. And obviously, it's already out there. Albert Pujols, Major League player, outstanding player, will be here. His foundation is now located in Nashville, so a new in Nashville edition. That's fantastic. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Toby. We'll go straight to the Bridgestone Arena South Entrance construction update. Patrick Holcomb, Convention Center Authority, is going to give us that report.
Actually, I'm going to do it because Patrick's not here. He was sick yesterday afternoon. He said he may or may not come.
Okay,
he didn't have a voice. So on January 9th, we did the formal ribbon cutting for the entrance and the back of the arena. We had an outstanding turnout at that ribbon cutting. It was announced that Billy Joel will be playing a very special show. The facility we're going to tour after this, so board members who weren't able to make it and who have time to stick around, we'll go back there and look at the retail space, the plaza, and the new south entrance. It looks outstanding. It was actually delivered a couple days earlier than expected. The public can now use that entrance, which is fantastic because it was limited there for a period of time around the fall, and so we're really excited about getting the retail spaces on board, and we'll let Sean comment a little bit on some of those spaces being activated soon.
Thank you, Toby. Emmett and I were able to be here for that, and Emmett, you have any comments?
I think it's a good deal. What is the name of that entrance now? It's the Sobro.
Nissan Sobro entrance. Nissan Sobro entrance.
Okay, I have to remember that. It was a good space and a good walkthrough, and I think that this building is outstanding. I was looking at the thing about us being number 6, I believe it is, and the people that come in behind us, I know they're envious, but go Nashville.
Yeah, and I hope that if you noticed on there that there will be a tour right after this meeting, and if you have not been over there, it would be very worthwhile for you to go, and you would enjoy seeing it, and it's a great addition to our facility.
We're very happy with the space. It's fantastic.
Right.
It's very special.
Okay. We'll move right along. Construction update on the ice hockey practice facility. Mr. Moore is going to give that report.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Just to give a quick update of the construction on the ice facility. The last 30 days on the building, we've started foundations, started the under slab, rough end, foundation block has been started, and the elevator pit have been poured. And as far as the site goes, the storm drainage has been started around the building and the primary power rough end. So that's kind of what's happened the last 30 days. In the next 30 days, we project to complete the foundations, pour the central core slab of the building, and that's sort of the piece of the building that sits in between the two sheets of ice, where all the locker rooms are and such. Erect the masonry walls within that core part of the building, and start setting the precast planks, and install headers for the ice refrigeration, which will be what creates the ice on the hockey rinks. And as far as site goes, for the next 30 days, we'll be completing the storm drainage around the building. We'll start our water line, sewer line, and our NES main power rough end. So that's kind of a broad overview. If you go out there right now, you still see a bunch of dirt, but there's a lot more happening that might first meet the eye. So, yeah.
Are we on schedule, progressing along?
The schedule is looking very good at this point. And I think after we get out of the ground, it'll be a lot better. That's the toughest part right now. The weather's giving us some trouble. So as soon as we get out of the ground in the next 30 days, we'll be able to tighten up the schedule, and I'll be able to provide that confidently.
We're doing weekly meetings on site now.
Correct. The OAC meetings have started. Our first one was this week, and we think it was very productive. And we'll be doing those once a month, the first Tuesday of the month, with the Preds team and their consultant, as well as our design team and construction team on site. So everything's looking pretty good.
Anybody else have a question? Thank you, Rooney.
No problem.
Well, Sean, they've been talking about you. Now we'll hear from you.
I don't know if you guys heard, good morning, by the way, but Bridgestone Areno's the, what'd you say, Toby?
6th.
And he's right, you are going to hear from me on that. It is a big accomplishment. Congratulations to all of you on it. A few years ago, we said our goal is to finish in the top 10 year in and year out, which will allow us to hit our ultimate goal, and that's be the #1 sports and entertainment facility in the country. And when you look at the list that we're compared to, and more importantly, who's behind us, which, do you know who's behind us, Toby?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Madison Square Garden's behind us. First time we beat them.
Number 7.
Now, someone should be quick to say, well, they've been under renovation, right? Well, they have been under renovation, and they, I think, shut down for the month of July. But I think they still have about 13 million people within about 2 blocks of that building, so it's a pretty big accomplishment, to be ahead of them. But more importantly, the cities that we're mentioned with and competing with, and more importantly, beating, is really what we want to be with the city. So it's pretty exciting. Since that ranking came out, I've had 2 big concert announcements. One was Billy Joel, which we staged the press conference for, which got great media locally and nationally. That show is only playing 4, 5, 6 cities. We happen to be one of them, which is tremendous. It shows that everything that we've been saying, once you're in those conversations, it's a hard city to skip over. And then yesterday we announced the Katy Perry show, which is also this fiscal year. So just a lot of good things continue to happen. We're just in a good cycle. From a hockey perspective standpoint, again, the team's not where we want it to be, but I said it last month at the beginning of the year, if I told you we were going to be playing without Pekka Rinne and we'd be flirting with a playoff spot, really right in the hunt, you probably would have laughed, but that's where we are. Yesterday we made a really big trade, traded Matt Hendricks, a guy that we just signed to bring leadership to locker room, some grit, penalty killer, just a real good character guy. We were able to trade him, though, for Edmonton's former starting goalie, Dubnyk, and it is a big move. It's not a sign that there's anything wrong with Pekka. We got good news with Pekka just last week. He's starting his next phase of rehab. David Poyle said yesterday we expect him to play this year. We expect him to play where he left off, so that's exciting. At the same time, David's been trying to make a trade for a goalie, a premium goalie, since Pekka went down, and this was the first time we could do it. So what's nice is we're looking at the playoffs still. We're tooling the team, to get us there. And when you look at the hockey experts today and what they're saying about the trade, we won. And we got a great player. Again, he was the starting goalie for Edmonton for the past 2.5 years. Big moneyed guy, but we brought him in really for a tryout for him, for our own team, but then the rest of the league as he's a free agent at the end of the year. So we're still in that hunt, and we look forward to playing some meaningful games in March and ideally into April and May. So from a report standpoint, we got it, I think, a month ago or so. I don't want to sound too arrogant. I know I'm already arrogant, so the too arrogant's the important part. But this is the 40th month in a row, I think, that I have no bad news to share with you. Just good news. And, I kind of feel like the Braves of the 90s, things are just always good, so people start taking it for granted. So I went to Noah Webster's Thesaurus, and we're starting to run out of words, to describe an incredible year, great year, phenomenal year. But it's true. We're sitting in the middle of this fiscal year, and it's a record year. Last year was a record year. The year before that was a record year. And that's odd in our industry to continue to build those. David Kells, who books our building, I don't think it's here today because he's scared about next fiscal year. But he's been saying that now for 2 years. He's been so good at what he does. I think I mentioned he was nominated as Executive of the Year by Polestar. Those awards will be handed out in this town next month, so hopefully he wins. The building is nominated as Building of the Year, Arena of the Year, I think for the 7th time in a row. Again, next month we find out who it is. So at our next scheduled meeting, hopefully we have that good news to share with you, that David won it and the building won. But again, when you look at the financials, if you have any questions, just ask. It's just absolutely incredible. I think for the month, year over year, revenues are up 379%, I think to be exact. 379%. 379% revenues are up this November over the prior November. For the year to date, they're up over 100%. Again, that's over a record year. Year to date, through the end of November, revenues are up I'm sorry, where am I? The bottom line is up 55% for the month. For the year, 25%. Against the budget, we increased the month over 55% and year to date over 25%. So really just a lot of really good things happening from a renovation standpoint. We'll tour around a little bit later. Look forward to answering any questions you have about that. But a lot of fun, exciting things are happening. Our HVAC renovation that we completed roughly September or so is working better than we thought it would. When you look at our energy usage, it's just, doing what it should be doing, but more importantly, what we thought it would do for our ice, what we thought it would do for the comfort of the building. We've yet to have an ice rating that's been under an 85% rating. By contrast, a year ago or 2 years ago, we never had a rating above 85%. I think we've had Tim Friedenberger, our building manager, sitting behind me. He can tell you the exact number of games. But I think we've had about 15 games where we had a 100% rating, which is just phenomenal. You see those ratings normally in Edmonton in January because they just open the door and it freezes. So we're doing some great things with that. So thanks for putting that forward. If you have any questions about what we're doing, I'd love to brag, answer about it. So with that, thank you. Look forward to seeing you later for the tour.
Any questions for Sean?
Other than Billy Joe, you got anything stuck in your pocket you want to slide?
Always. I keep all my extra tickets with my extra money and my extra storage space. So if you can find either one of those, you'll find the extra tickets. But tickets go on sale Saturday. I think they did an American Express pre-sale that we're in the middle of right now. And season ticket holders, do a small commercial, have a pre-sale tomorrow. So if you're a season ticket holder, it's a great way to get tickets. If you're not, it's not too late to become a season ticket holder. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Sean, and congratulations to you and your team for the successes. The meeting's a little more enjoyable than it was when you had the first meeting with us, right?
Yeah, 39 months ago, it was not fun. Jeff's actually still in the room. If you remember that first meeting, he ran out. He wouldn't even be part of it. And when you introduced me, you guys thought I was Jeff. And for a minute, I was going to say, I am Jeff Cogan, and we're sorry. But no, a lot of good things have happened since then, and that's really a credit to the board, so thank you.
Well, we thank you and Jeff and all the team here that's made it happen.
Thanks.
Congratulations. Okay, we're going right along with the agenda, and we'll have our friend Walter Overton to tell us about what's going on with the Titans. A few changes over, Walter.
Good morning, Chairman. Good morning, board members. Hope everybody is trying to stay healthy and stay out of the cold. I just got over a serious infection, congestion infection, so hopefully I'll be able to project and you guys can hear what I am saying. Since our last meeting, we won our last home game.
All right.
Had a very successful Music City Bowl. Had two great teams, Ole Miss and Georgia Tech. It was a very exciting football game, and had somewhere around 54,000. So it was a well-played game. I had gotten a lot of compliments on the fact that we turned the field around in such a quick pace. They said that I was told that it looked great on television, where you would not have realized that we had played the day before. So that was very encouraging. Don wanted to be here, but of course a lot of things are happening this week. So he had some other obligations, as well as Janine, our CFO, is over at St. Thomas Sports Park, taking care of business there. So we are very excited in the fact that we have a new coach. He's already got a nickname called The Wiz. So I'm hoping that he's a wizard so that he can get us in the playoffs and return that fire that LP Field has known since we started playing here in '99. So we're looking forward to that. We know that he is putting together an outstanding staff. He's reevaluating all of the players that are currently on the team, and I'm sure that he and our general manager will put their heads together and put what I think would be a very competitive team next football season. And I know that our fans are looking forward to it, and everybody in Titanville is certainly excited about the fact that we have a new coach, and just looking forward to working with him. We didn't provide a report, but we will have our report at our next meeting. I do want to bring to the attention of the board that during that freeze period where temperatures were around freezing and just above, we did have some sprinkler heads that froze and burst, causing some damage to ceiling tile and carpets on levels 2 and 3 on the east side. Not as serious as we first thought, but it is some damage that we have to look at. And we also had some sprinkler heads that froze in the elevator pit, but there was no damage to the elevators. We had approximately 20 drinking fountains that froze. So there was some damage, some minimal damage, but not to the point where we are having to spend thousands of dollars. But we'll get with Metro Insurance and look at it, because it will fall under casualty and loss claims. Are there any questions? Yes, sir.
Is there anything you could actually do when the temperature drops like that? I mean, there's no plan or anything, to go through the stadium and turn this on or let that run a little bit or whatever?
We try to monitor that. We anticipated that the temperatures would get close to freezing. So we had our workers there monitoring that, but when you're outdoor facility, there's not a lot that you can do. So we just hope to minimize the damage, and I think we did a good job in doing that. Steve?
Steve?
With all the changes taking place, I'm glad to see that you're still here.
Me too. I certainly am too. So. Any other questions?
Any other questions? Thank you, Walter.
Thank you.
We all are glad you're still here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, we've got the LP Field parking contracts, and Toby's going to kick off that discussion, I believe, and introduce the others that will participate.
Yeah, Margaret will probably have a few things to say, and I know Tom Turner is here, but Russell, if you want to come on up, Russell Payne with the Downtown Partnership, he really coordinates some of the bus routes and some of the parking on behalf of the partnership. But what we have before us, we have two specific things that are amendments to the contract. The first is something that we've known for many months. The other came up last week because of the speed of the ballpark. So the first amendment is an amendment with a new company in Nashville, UBS. They invested in Nashville. They bought the First Tennessee building downtown. As part of the incentive package that was offered by the administration through economic development, they wanted to offer approximately 600 spaces in LP Field in Lot B. This is an unused lot during the day. The existing bulk of the workers are in Lot A, so this is an unused area. And so we've been contemplating this and working towards it. This would be a 5-year period of time to be used approximately from 6 in the morning to 8 at night. These jobs would be people that would be kind of in the service side of the business, people that may be doing kind of a call center operation, so they have 2 shifts and it runs a little later at night. There is no financial impact to the Sports Authority for working with UBS. The second amendment is one with the state of Tennessee. So as we all know, with the ballpark, we are asking state employees that park in the parking lots there at Bicentennial Mall to move. This has happened very, very quickly, but we have always understood that the state of Tennessee has the option to use 4,000 parking places at LP Field. Right now, they're asking to use this as an overflow parking lot that would be about 600 to 1,200 cars kind of in the air. We don't exactly know how many cars. And some of this is getting ironed out, but this will occur on about January 27th. We're having our groundbreaking down there, obviously. We get to start moving these cars. So the Downtown Partnership has been working closely with the Tennessee Department of General Services to make sure that these employees are moved with a minimal amount of inconvenience. So the parking that we're talking about for these state employees would be lots D. So if we have A, B, C is Titans parking, D is unused parking right now, and then some overflow possibly into lot N. So we have two of these amendments to the existing contract.
That pretty much describes it.
Could you just show us? I think you have a.
Yeah, there's a.
Show us where we're talking about.
This is the exhibit to the existing agreement. I don't know if you can see it, and I'm happy to pass it around. But B is right here. This is the interstate, I believe. Yeah. B is right here. D is here. This is the gas station, and then N is here on the other side of Shelby Street. Shelby Avenue.
There is no financial impact with either of these amendments to the Sports Authority. This is unused lots that we open up for economic development activities and other such to the Downtown Partnership.
One thing I'll add is that the existing agreement, and the amendment will continue this, is between the Sports Authority and the Downtown Partnership. They provide shuttle services to Lot A currently and Lot R to shuttle people across the river. And the people who use the shuttle service pay them, presumably. I've not seen those contracts, but they have an arrangement directly with those people as opposed to with us. And then the agreement with the Downtown Partnership is that the people who are parking over there don't pay for the parking space, they pay for the shuttle service.
And Tom Turner's here from the Downtown Partnership, too. If anybody has any questions. Steve?
I want to be sure that these new proposals do not interfere in any way with what the Downtown Partnership has been doing. It does not encroach on any of the parking that you have been utilizing.
No, it does not.
Okay. The other, I would like to make a comment too, that I think it's important for the public to see one of the real benefits of having a facility like LP Field is the ability to make these kind of provisions for companies and businesses and that sort of thing, and that really contributes to the economic growth of downtown Nashville. And having that facility there with all of those parking places is a very, very valuable thing. And having it downtown as opposed to out in the boonies somewhere is a real financial benefit to our economy.
And the state parking would be approximately 18 months of length. So this is a short-term solution until we build the new parking garage that we've already voted on in December.
Right.
And then largely those employees would move back over to the Bicentennial Mall site.
But think about how expensive it would have been for the government to replace that number of parking places downtown if we did not have this facility and this flexibility to be able to use that.
Okay, and you said there are two amendments that we need to deal with today, or?
It's a single amendment, but it is adding
parts.
in it's opening up those additional parking spaces for the UBS employees and for the state of Tennessee employees.
And we need to approve that.
Correct.
Yes.
And I have a resolution that will get you to sign
Right.
afterwards.
Right.
Motion for approval?
Motion's been made to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Further discussion?
Could I
Yes, sir.
ask
Yes,
one
sir.
more question?
Yes, sir.
This UPS deal, is it a permanent, forever deal, or is it also temporary and limited
It's for 5 years.
for 5 years?
Yes.
Okay, other questions? All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your partnership.
Thank you, Russell, very much. Okay, one of the hot items and the most current in the news today is the ballpark, and Toby's going to bring us up to date on the ballpark.
Well, the dust has not settled on this despite the holidays. We've been working nonstop since our last meeting, and as we just voted on, things are happening every day to advance the project. And so, obviously, we've talked about the groundbreaking January 27th at 3:30. Hope you all come. I did want to quickly recognize that Brad Tammon is here from the Sounds, and Brad, if you have any comments, additional comments, feel free to come up and make them if you want. But very quickly, so the city and the design team are finalizing the designs for the ballpark, and we'll have some additional renderings and drawings to bring back before the board here in the coming months. The team actually right now, some of the team members are in Charlotte looking at some of their facilities. They recently had built a ballpark. There are several features of that ballpark that people wanted to actually see, particularly some of the interior pieces of the ballpark. And so there's some folks actually in Charlotte today checking out their recent construction there. The city chose, and it was announced just before the new year, that Bell Construction would be the construction manager on the project. I have spoken with the project manager from Bell, Kevin, and we'll have him here at some point so that everyone can be introduced and everyone can kind of see the team that's coming together. There will also be an RFP response that's due on January 16th to the city for a local architectural and engineering firm to get involved with the project, and they will be working closely with Populous, who's been doing some of the initial work, and Ron Gobble at Gobble Hayes, so it'll be kind of a complementary aspect. Earthwork has been released for bids, so as soon as we get done on the 27th with the formality of our groundbreaking, you'll see construction fencing going up. You'll see some real earth movement down in that area, and construction fencing will go up shortly after the 27th, and 4th Avenue will close. Already in the last couple weeks, we've done some core drilling down there just to begin kind of evaluating the soils and understanding kind of some of the geotechnical concerns of that particular site. So a lot of activity in 4 weeks, and mix in some holidays. So we're gonna keep it moving.
Any questions?
I just want to say thanks for everyone's support. I tell you, we're extremely excited about what's coming forward, and our phones have been rather busy, people inquiring about tickets and what they can do to get in line early. And we're just excited and appreciate your support. There's a lot of excitement coming forward, particularly with the groundbreaking as we have that big event. And I think when people start seeing dirt move, and we know it's well underway. So just thanks again for everybody's support.
Thank you very much, and we'll probably see you at most of our meetings now Right. Very good. Thank you, Toby. And that's great news, and we're all excited about it. And our next item on the agenda has to do with Embry reimbursement agreement, and both Toby and Margaret will be talking about that. If you have some information in your packet, I think under tab 5. Is that right, Toby, under 5? Yeah.
I'll let Margaret kind of walk us through this in a moment, but just to say this. The reimbursement agreement that you see before you has been contemplated and worked out mainly by Rich Riebling in working with the folks at Embry. This has always been contemplated. It was discussed briefly at the December meeting. We did not have this particular document prepared at that meeting, and so we had agreed that we would bring it before the board here in January. Do you want to walk us through kind of functionally what this does? I think that would be...
Essentially, the developer for that parcel that is north of the ballpark had to go before the State Building Commission to get approval of their design plans. And as part of that approval, they had to agree to build the building in compliance with those design plans. So if there is some modification that has to happen due to some unexpected condition on the land itself, and they have to go back before the State Building Commission, then we are agreeing to reimburse them for reasonable calls for the delays or changes that are necessary coming out of that unforeseen event. So that is essentially the agreement.
Okay, questions?
Yes. Would they have had to go before the State Building Commission with that same issue had the baseball field not been a factor?
No.
No.
We've put them in the position where they have to go to the building commission because we, the city, the sports authority, asked them to move their development to other land that was controlled by the state. We've put them in that position.
Steve?
I won't be sure what we're agreeing to reimburse. I understand we're agreeing to reimburse their cost in going back before, if it happens, going back before the State Building Commission and the cost of changing the plans. Are we all, I'm not sure what else we're agreeing. I mean, I can understand we're agreeing to reimburse them for, I don't know, their lawyers or their architects or whoever goes before.
It's essentially for any sort of additional expense that they have to pay if there is some problem with the land that was unforeseen at the time of the original approval before the commission, before the State Building Commission. So it would not extend so far as to cover, additional architectural fees or what have you, but it would cover any sort of delays that they may suffer as a result of having to go back before the State Building Commission.
Okay. I'm not trying to be difficult. I just want to be sure I understand what we're doing. Let's suppose, for example, that when they drill down, they find a bunch of dinosaur bones. Mm-hmm. And as a result of that, they are required to remove those to the Smithsonian or whatever it is that the federal government or whatever regulations there are that involve finding of dinosaur bones. And y'all laugh about that, but there was a saber-toothed tiger found when they were building, I think, the Third National, what was used to be the Third National Bank building, and hence the saber-toothed predator mascot. If that were to happen, I could see, I don't know, millions and millions, maybe hundreds of millions of dollars to preserve whatever has to be done. Are we agreeing to reimburse them that cost or just the cost of delaying their project? Can you explain that to me?
That is the type of cost that would not be covered by this agreement. This agreement would only cover costs if they have to change the design, and this is also behind tab 5 of your plan. It's an exhibit to the agreement. You can see there's some schematics for design. If they have to change this design by going back before the State Building Commission, then the cost associated with that would be covered under this agreement. The cost associated with finding some sort of historical artifact or archaeological artifact that has to be preserved, that cost is not contemplated under this agreement.
Okay. And the reason I'm asking you these questions was so that I don't have to read it all and try to figure it out myself. I'm relying on your expertise on it.
This is mainly concerns the materials that are used in the construction process. And the good thing that the board should understand as part of this, it was probably very, it probably be very unlikely that this agreement would ever be used because over the course of the negotiations and over the course of the process, the design teams for the city, for Embry, for the Bicentennial Mall, and for the State Building Commission have worked very closely together to agree on what would be used, what does it look like. And that was, frankly, some of the reason why we were delayed in the process of bringing things to the board and kind of getting the process going a little earlier. So they have worked very closely together to already agree on what would be used and what this looks like.
In order to make sure they don't clash, per se.
They're looking for a cohesive design for that area.
Their design and our design, so that they kind of go together. I understood that, but I'm kind of like the judge over here. the part I didn't understand was, is there a top stop, or is it just open-ended, you know?
It has to be related to, any sort of damages that they may suffer have to be related to unforeseen conditions on the property discovered after the original approval by the State Building Commission. And they also have to be directly related to returning to the State Building Commission to change their plans. Again, if you look at the attachment to the agreement, these are general schematic design plans. These are not, they don't have to return to have their detailed architectural plans and designs reviewed by the State Building Commission. It's just for that general design plan. If they discover something on the I'm speculating here, but if they discover some condition with the property that only allows them to build up to 3 stories, which right now they're looking at a 4-story building, then that might need to go back before the State Building Commission.
So then are we obligating ourselves to pay for the value of that 4th story
No.
if this were to happen?
No, we're...
Okay, that's what I want to be sure. They can't come back and say, oh, we could have had a $500 million development, and now because of these conditions we found, we only have a $300 million, and so you owe us $200 million.
No, that's not the agreement. The agreement is to reimburse them for cost or damages they suffer due to delays resulting from returning to the State Building Commission for approval.
Good.
What is an example of one of those kinds of damages that could occur? That's where I think it's a little vague for me. But I understand delays, so is that they would have inventory that comes in and they have to store it, and so we may have to pay for that? Is that?
Potentially something along those lines, yes. That they would have, goodness, I'm not really sure what type of delays come up in construction of buildings, but if they already have contracts with people that are, that they're working on a certain timeline and they've got to pay by a certain time period, then perhaps that would be considered a delay. But that's something that we would have to consider once we are presented with a demand for payment. Again, the likelihood of it happening is
And part of the delay process is that the fact that the State Building Commission meets somewhat irregular, and so it could be weeks before, that's the delay for them, is it could be weeks before the problem is introduced and the solution is brought back. So it just really could stretch things out.
So and you may have said this already, but have they already presented this to the State Building Commission? And so now they're waiting to get response back? Is that where it is right now?
No, they currently have approval of these designs.
Okay.
And so assuming that there are no circumstances dealing with the land that would cause them to have to change these designs, they should be good to go.
And generally, the State Building Commission meets every month.
It'd be fairly extraordinary at this point to have to use this, because in early December, many of us met with the Building Commission. The Embry folks presented to the Building Commission. They approved it. They feel very comfortable. We've worked with the State Architect's Office. We've worked with the architect of the Bicentennial Mall and many other people on the entire campus of our development, the ballpark, as well as this private development. And the State Building Commission is very comfortable right now with where we are.
Margaret?
I just looking at a little bit of wording when we've been talking. I noticed in the whereas portion in the beginning on page 1, it talks about reimburse Emory for damages due to delays, the 1 second from the. But when we look at reimbursement for Emory expenses under A, it says we are responsible for any and all sums of damages incurs or suffers, including with respect to delays. I'm wondering if that could just be take out. That including kind of worries me. I wonder if we just should say due to respect to delays, because that could be argued that it could be other things, but just including. So can we just put the due to or with respect to the delays and take out including?
I will.
We can check about that.
Yeah, I'll raise that with their attorney.
Because I feel more comfortable with the language in the whereas part than I do.
It should
mirror it.
They should mirror.
Right.
Which recital are you looking at?
I'm looking at the one from
2A.
whereas it's condition of the purchase,
Second to the
you
last
see
paragraph.
it's right down here, due to delays, which is, I think, what we're intending, and not to reimburse them for damages, including delays.
Okay.
Okay, with the discussion, do I hear a motion that we approve this with this modification being taken to Emory?
Motion.
Motion's made. Is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? Yes, sir.
I want to be sure that as our council, you are protecting us and Metro and the taxpayers from any sort of catastrophic result that might occur, or any catastrophic claim for damages in this, if we approve this agreement. And we're relying on you to analyze this, advise us that we are protected from that.
That's the purpose of that's the purpose of having the language that relates the damages to unforeseen conditions in the land as it stands right now.
Okay.
And what I look at is, under 10, it says the Rich has negotiated and approved the agreement too, so I bet you they've asked some of these same questions to make sure they get to this point, so.
Where does it say unforeseen conditions?
Well, if you look to the 2A,
Okay.
it says to conditions related to the land that Embry discovers after December 16th. December 16th was the date that they received the approval from the State Building Commission. And again, everything here relates to the requirement to have to return to the State Building Commission to modify their design plans, which their design schematics. This is not related to, again, the situation brought up earlier about finding archaeological treasures under the property.
Okay, any other questions? We have the motion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Approved. Toby, you want to continue there with the ballpark bond CT forms?
This is really a formality. What you see in tab 6 are two documents. They're CT forms. The state refers to them as such. When you complete a bond transaction, you simply have to present these to the board. There is no vote required. It's simply information about from the time that you guys voted on this in December to now that the bonds are closed, what happened, what did they sell for, what are the terms of the transaction. It simply just needs to be presented, and it has now been done.
Any questions?
I have a comment.
Okay.
I just want to say, Toby, you are doing a fantastic job. You really are in explaining everything, and being involved in every facet. I really appreciate your efforts. And I know that Monica is by your side helping you all the way. She's just not talking today. But you are extremely well-versed in every aspect of the business. And it really is helpful to have your guidance as we go through these issues.
Thank you, Nancy, for that.
Margaret and Monica prop me up, so it's...
Okay, the next item on our agenda today is to elect officers for the coming year. Each January, we elect officers for the coming year in accordance with our bylaws. At the December meeting, we announced that this would take place at the January meeting, and it's in your materials. So the floor is open for nominations, either as a slate, or if we want to elect individually, we can, each of the offices. Yes?
Go ahead.
No, you please go ahead.
Well, I agree that the staff of the Sports Authority has done a great job in the past year, but I also think our officers have been very engaged and done a terrific job. So I move that we elect J.D. Elliott as chair, Kim Atkins as vice chair, and Kathy Bender as secretary.
Second.
Okay, are there other nominations? You've heard the motion, it's been made. All in favor of this motion say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. Kim and I work together. And Kim has got to go to court. She doesn't go to court very often, but this is one of those mornings. I hope you win.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
And we appreciate your confidence. We appreciate working with each of you. I love you when you ask the questions, right questions, and we get full discussion of them. It's a great team, and it's a great effort, and thank each of you for serving and your confidence. Our next meeting is February the 20th. Anything else this morning, Steve?
It's sort of a matter of personal privilege. I would like to say that I think my term of office expires February the 19th, and I think our next meeting is February the 20th. I have not heard one way or the other from the mayor's office as to whether he wants to reappoint me or not, and that's certainly his absolute prerogative. But if this is my last meeting, I want to say that I have enjoyed my association with all of you and with the Sports Authority. I feel like we've accomplished some things. 12 years ago, this February, I was on a beach in Jamaica, and I heard an announcement over the loudspeaker at this resort that said I had a telephone call. Somehow Mayor Purcell had tracked me down. I had taken great steps to make sure no one could track me down to this particular place in Jamaica, but he did and asked me, and I thought that being in sort of a Jamaica frame of mind, I thought being on the Sports Authority would be just a really glamorous and exciting thing. It has been exciting, but not very glamorous. But I have enjoyed these 12 years and enjoyed my association with all of you. And if this is my last meeting, I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Steve. And we don't know. We will have some terms expiring, and who's going to be appointed, we don't know yet. From the mayor's office, we have no information along those lines. So we'll wait and see. And if you don't hear, you'll be at the next meeting.
I may or may not see you on the 20th.
Until the mayor makes the appointment, a member, the code says that a member may serve 90 days beyond the end of their term, which is just a listed date, the 19th that you referenced. And we do have several members. It is frankly unlikely that we'll hear back from the mayor's office prior to that next meeting.
Well, I would just like to say that Steve, I mean, your institutional memory and your knowledge of what goes on in the Sports Authority is just so important to us as a board. So whatever happens, I just want to acknowledge how important that has been, especially during my service, knowing that you understand what's going on and that you will ask the right questions. So thank you very much.
And he lives through some real tough times. Okay, anything else this morning? Thank you very much for coming, and I declare the meeting adjourned.
We'll just meet back here. Anybody that wants to go on the tour.